It has happened again. Nnako has been devoured. Who did this to poor Nnako? The villagers asked. Some were in tears, while some were running back so they don't behold again the body of the woman lying dead, covered in blood before them. People gathered, looking sad, scared and confused. This is the ninth similar case they are witnessing under 2 months. Nobody seemed to have a clear explanation about what was happening in their community. Ifa community is known for its peacefulness, but the peace of this community has been trampled on. People now live in fear. Nightfall became what they feared most. Night has become longer than it used to be. Ifa people have learned to sleep with one eye open. As they gathered in Nnako's compound, with her lifeless body lying at back of her compound, they were scared and in sorrow. For past 2 months, a strange thing had come to dwell with them in their community. It always attacked people in the night inside their compound. None of the victims ever lived to tell the story. Nnako's neighbors confessed they first had a baby crying for long in Nnako's compound, and after a while, the next thing they heard was Nnako's scream, and after that, nothing else was heard. The experience was similar to that of other victims. People are left with many questions. Why did the baby cry? Who dropped his or her baby in someone's compound? The victims, did they go to rescue the baby and the owner attacked them? Or was it the baby that attacked the victims? Since Nnako was a widow without a child, the villagers decided to bury her first before anything. After Nnako's burial, the elders organized themselves and went to the palace to see the king. They all agreed they must get to the root of the problem. The king divided the elders into 3 and sent them to neighboring towns to consult with their chief priest, since their own chief priest passed away not long ago. The king did that to know if the answers they would bring back home would be the same. When the first set of elders returned, they told the king that they were told that what was happening to them is from their community and that it lives with them. The second set of elders returned and told the king that the high priest said that the gods refused to speak. The last set of elders came back with the news that their problem stays with them and them alone can fight and destroy whatever it was tormenting them. After hearing the whole results, they became more confused. The king gave order that everybody must be indoor once it clocked 7 o'clock in the evening. Nobody must be seen outside his or her home, no matter what sound he or she hears. He assured them that the vigilante will be on patrol every night to make sure they are safe. When the people heard the king's order, they felt relieved. At least they know they are being guided. A week passed, no mysterious death. Weeks passed, yet nothing. Months passed, still no news of such strange deaths. People were happy, and they were thanking their king and the gods of their land for finally hearing their cries and coming to save them. Once again, people became comfortable and free again. They seemed to have forgotten about the mysterious deaths. They all started living like they used to before. One dark night, there was a heavy rainfall. The villagers went into their huts to enjoy their sleep. In the middle of the night, Ezugo woke up to go eat herself at the back of her hut. The moment she stepped out of her hut, she started hearing a cry of a baby drawing close to her. She was touched by the baby's cry. She started wondering who could be this heartless to leave a baby alone outside in the cold night. As she was still standing and having those thoughts in her head, the baby's cry became more audible and clear. She flashed her light towards the direction where the baby's cry was coming from. Instead of seeing a little baby, she came face to face with a scary-looking monster she had never seen before in her life. She dropped her light and made to run, but the creature was faster, grabbed her with force and killed her instantly. Ezugo's husband, who was sleeping in his room, heard her wife scream. He rushed into her room but didn't see his wife. He grabbed his machete and ran outside the hut, and behold, his precious wife was covered in her own blood. He ran around his compound, searching for the intruder, but didn't see a being. He screamed on top of his voice, challenging whosoever did that to his wife to come meet him. Yet he didn't see anybody or a thing. He went to where his wife was lying dead. Seeing her covered in her own blood, he broke down in tears. He dropped his machete and carried his wife up from the wet ground. As he was opening his front door, he felt something standing behind him. It was then it occurred to him he had dropped his machete. "Gods of our land," he muttered under his breath. He turned forcefully and was standing face to face with a scary looking creature. He couldn't find his voice. He managed to say, "You did this to my wife, right?" The monster gave a baby-like cry and rushed at him. Ezugo's husband threw his dead wife at the creature in self-defense. The monster lost its balance and fell. Ezugo's husband seized the opportunity and grabbed his machete, charging towards the strange creature. The creature stood up almost immediately, attacked Ezugo's husband. The both struggled. Ezugo's husband's lower skin was torn, but he didn't give up. He cut off one of the hands of the creature. The creature cried in pain and was nowhere to be found again. The next morning, the villagers gathered in Ezugo's compound. The king also left his palace to Ezugo's house. His house was filled with people of Ifa community. The strange creature's hand that was cut off was still in Ezugo's compound. People took turn examining the hand. Still, they can't tell which animal the hand belongs to. The people brought a healer to attend to Ezugo's husband, who was bleeding. They were all amazed and respected his bravery and courage. He was the only person who has met the strange being face to face and survived to tell the story. When the king and the elders arrived at his place, he described to everyone present what the strange creature looked like. He told them it has a woman figure with a baby-like voice, huge and strong, and also has power to disappear. After listening to him, the king and the elders concluded they might be dealing with a human being that has some dark spiritual powers, because a normal animal cannot disappear. Again, they also agreed it might be a woman as well, since it has a woman figure. They were glad for the information they gathered. The king picked up the strange hand from the ground. After examining it, he said to the elders he thinks they are at advantage, that whoever must have been involved in that murderous act must be losing one of his or her fingers at the moment. The elders saw sense in what he said, and they agreed with him. The king gave order that nobody must leave Ifa community, and every home must be searched. He urged his people to comply. The search party was formed and started their work that same day. They were instructed to check for both hands of every person. Nobody should be left out, both children and adults. And anyone seen with a missing hand should be brought to the palace. The search party was going from house to house. Each home gave them free access to search their entire house. This activity lingered for 2 straight days. Nothing was found. It was just remaining few more houses, and they would be done. On the 3rd day, the search party completed their assignment, and they didn't find anyone with a missing hand. The king was disappointed. He asked them if they were sure they didn't miss any home by mistake. They told the king they visited all houses. Then one of the men told the king the only person they didn't meet face to face, but they were in her house, was Adego, that she was taking her bath when they got to her house. She answered from the bathroom and told them she left some akara and fruits for them at the entrance of her home. They ate the akara and the fruits and were thankful to her. They couldn't wait for her to be done before they left because they felt it was of no use. Everybody in Ifa community know how good and kind Adego is. She always look out for people, especially children. People have always felt life was not fair to Adego. Adego has lost her husband, witnessed the death of her son and only daughter, and she's only left with a son. Almost all the elders waved Adego aside and asked the search party to think harder if they had missed out a house. The king gave the men a parcel and asked them to go back to Adego's house and give her the parcel. They should tell her it's a gift from the king, that the king wants to appreciate her for the akara and the fruits he gave to them. When the search party got to Adego's house, they met her in her compound wearing an oversized cloth. She was shocked when she saw them. They handed the parcel to her, telling her that the king gave it to her for her generosity and kindness. She collected the parcel with left hand. The men looked at themselves because in Ifa community, using a left hand to collect something from a person is a sign of disrespect, let alone accepting a gift from the king with a left hand. Seeing the look on their faces, Adego told them with a smile she was sorry for using her left hand to collect the gift, that she dislocated her right hand when she mistakenly fell inside her bathroom, and she doesn't want to stress the hand. Some of the men felt pity for her and asked her to let them help her massage and straighten the hand. Adego smiled and told them not to worry, that his son already did that for her. As they were about leaving, one of them tore out a piece of his cloth and told her it would heal faster if she would let him tie the piece of the cloth on the dislocated hand and then hang it on her neck. Adego declined. She tried so hard to convince them she was fine. One of the men, who had been silent all the while, asked her to let them see the hand. Adego shifted from one side to another. She was getting angry and uneasy. She shouted at the man that she was fine. She picked up the parcel and started going inside her hut. The man chased after her, got to where Adego was, blocked her and attempted to raise the oversized cloth up, but Adego dragged her cloth with him. When the man finally carried the cloth up, the men couldn't believe what their eyes saw. Some shouted, "So it was you all the while." Adego fell down crying, asking them to let her explain that it wasn't what they thought. They dragged her up and took her to the palace. Everybody that saw Adego couldn't believe his or her eyes. Some were saying there could be a mistake somewhere. The king asked her if she knew anything about the strange death in the Ifa community, but she couldn't answer. The king asked her again to explain to them what happened to her hands, but she refused to answer. The king gave order to go fetch her son. When they brought Adego's son to the palace, he saw his mother with one hand and ran to her crying, "Mother, what happened to your hand? Did the king's guards cut your hand?" Adego started weeping. She begged the king to please let her son go. She confessed she was responsible for the strange death, but that those she murdered found her trouble in one way or the other. She told them she was a witch, that she had tried severally to stop killing, but she couldn't help it. The people spat on her, dragged her outside, and stoned her to death. This brings our story to an end. I hope you enjoyed this story. What moral lesson did you grab from our story? Let us know in the comment section. Please do subscribe to this channel and give us a like as well. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.